first window of heaven point is Tiantu, the prominence of heaven, and it's right here at the sternal notch. And the way I was taught to needle this was to go in, and then to take the needle and go down underneath the sternum. I got to tell you, I don't really enjoy doing that on anybody. I think it's a scary-ass technique. So I don't do it very much. But that's how I was taught to do it. You go down, and then you go whoosh, under the sternum a little bit. But there you have it. Now, as this is the first window of heaven point that's listed, but it's not called the first. It's not called, it's not even given a name, right? It's just, that's the first one. When we're actually talking about the ordering of 7, then the first one that's listed is stomach 9, Renying, right here, right? So, stomach 9 is just found lateral to the Adam's apple, between the sternal branch of the sternocleidomastoid and the thyroid cartilage, pretty much right in there. And you're going to feel a pulse there. And so I would say all of these window of heaven points, I would recommend needling very gently with a really short needle. They're really sensitive. The sensitivity of this part of the body reflects the subtlety and the sensitivity of the energy that you're trying to address. But this is listed as Itza, meaning the first one, right? So now bear in mind, we're going to go in a spiral like this around the neck. So even though in your textbook, the second one, the second point in our grouping is large intestine 18, Futu, right here. It actually should probably be slanted upwards a little, because if we want to actually sort of take account of the movement upwards in the neck like this. So if we put Renying there, then we might put Futu just a tiny bit higher. That's not a textbook location. That's just a little bit above a textbook location. Yeah. So then the next point, and this is Arza. This is the second in our sevenfold sequence. So the next point in our sevenfold sequence, Sansa, the third one, is going to be small intestine 16. So let's talk about the location of small intestine 16 a little bit. What you want to do is find the angle of the jaw, that very, very clear angle of the bone right there. It's very, very easy to palpate. And then from there, go posterior and inferior at a 45-degree angle, right, till you get to the other side of the sternocleidomastoid. That's going to be small intestine 16. Small intestine 16 is Tianchuan, which is heavenly window, which is similar to the name Tianyou that is used as the window of heaven points, right? It's the same kind of idea. Once we're getting from large intestine 18 up to small intestine 16, we're really getting into Kiko's immunity zone, where you're looking for sensitivity. Here might be an expression of a kind of weakened state of immunity. Now, if you think about it, sensitivity and weakened immunity are very, very often related. Very often people who are sensitive or hypersensitive also have an immunity that is more challenged, right? So it's interesting to kind of play around at small intestine 16. And it's easier to play around at small intestine 16 than to play around at stomach 9 or large intestine 18, because stomach 9 and large intestine 18 are really close to somebody's throat. And it's like, ugh, really? You don't really want a lot of pressure there. Intuitively, you don't want needles there, because you've got the carotid arteries and all that kind of thing. But once you get to small intestine 16, Tianchuan, then you can kind of work in a little bit. Now you're crossing over into the same territory that we just cleared when we did Tom Tam's vagal nerve release, right there. It's a very interesting point. For the sake of thoroughness, because I thought this point had some energy on it for her. And I think that may be because Nikki has probably got a lot of fire, heart, small intestine type of constitutionality. And so this point actually was quite interesting. So I'm just going to turn the neck a little bit. I'm going to look, for the sake of accuracy here. Stomach 9, large intestine 18, small intestine. So again, from the angle of the jaw, this is small intestine 17, we're going to go down and back, posterior and inferior, to the small intestine 16 zone and start just kind of exploring that a little bit. Yeah, right? Indeed, indeed. Now, as you're coming up the neck, or going down the neck, following the window of having points, you're also going to be accessing the cervical vertebrae. Right? And so this point is clearly accessing the transverse process. And I'm not 100% sure which vertebra I'm on, but it's definitely a nice, interesting thing. This one here, we got some crunchy. You okay?
Yeah.
It's a bit uncomfortable?
It's okay.
Yeah, this one's kind of interesting. So the next point up, I think it sits, right? Show me the chart, so make sure I get my story right here. Hold it still, thanks. Tianrong, small intestine 17, sits, the fourth one. So small intestine 17 is just going to be right off of that angle of the jaw, and then just in a little bit till you're kind of working into the tissue of the neck. That's kind of cool too. Now, these are also zones where you can kill somebody rather easily in a martial arts context. You know, you kind of spear fingers into here, and you can really mess them up. So, and that's often talked about in different martial arts traditions. So, that's kind of interesting too, because it again points to this sense of the fragility, the sensitivity, the vulnerability of these points, really. So this is Tianrong. Notice that many of these points have the word heaven in. So far we've had Tiantu, and then we've had Tianchuang, and now we have Tianrong, small intestine 17. And now the fifth of the window of having points in this sequence, Wu Ci Mai, is triple burner 17. Now, excuse me, triple burner 16. Now, triple burner 16 is really easy to find. You find triple burner 17, which is right behind the earlobe here, and you go back. You're going to go posterior and inferior at a 45-degree angle, just like you did from small intestine 17 to small intestine 16. You're going to do the same thing from triple burner 17 to triple burner 16, right? It's super easy once you get that trick, because triple burner 17 is easy to find behind the earlobe. Small intestine 17 is easy to find at the corner of the jaw, right? So you go posterior and inferior for small intestine 16, and the name of that is Tianchuang, heavenly window. And then from triple burner 17, you go posterior and inferior for triple burner 16. And the name of triple burner 16 is Tianyou, which is the word that is used, the phrase that is used to define the window of heaven points, because it simply means window of heaven. Right? So, and now I'm getting into something juicy. So what I'm doing right now is I'm massaging down the ridge connected to the transverse processes of, I'm guessing, C3 to C4. Yeah. And it's kind of an interesting place to kind of get a little bit of a release in her system. Yeah. So you all clear about that? Triple burner 17 to triple burner 16, small intestine 17 to small intestine 16. Very similar relationship. And so this zone right here is our window of heaven zone and our immunity zone. So therefore also a sensitivity zone. Yeah. I'm going to take a look at the other side. You doing okay, Nikki?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So I'm just going to find small intestine 17, kind of just work in there a little bit. Go back to small intestine 16, Tianchuan. And then I'm going to apply a little bit of traction here. You can't see that, but you see how I'm just giving a little bit of traction so that I can kind of work into the side of the neck a little bit. It's a little painful for her. Sorry.
It's okay.
Then I'm going to explore. This is a little tight. Small intestine 16 is definitely an interesting point for her. My tendency is to want to do more massage on these points, and then I might put a needle in just to allow, you know, the healing to continue after I finish doing the massage, and just to kind of add that little punctuation in.